Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shirley. I graduated law school and passed the New York bar exam. So I wanted to talk to y'all a little bit of how I did it and just some general advice. This is based on my experience, so please do not take this as like a be-all. Also, if you want the information in just like a website, I have a website. So you could click there and see all my bar exam resources. So don't mind the hair. The hair is hairing right now. It's really, don't even mind it. I am going to start off with priming my mother effing face. Okay. So first things first, the bar exam. The bar exam is one of the hardest exams, honestly. I do think, like, for me, now that I've went through it, I've studied for it, I've passed it, I think it's, of course, mentally draining, but no one really talks about how physically draining it is to literally sit for an exam that is 6 hours long for 2 days. It's insane. Regarding my schedule, I think that's the most kind of like important kind of initial point when it comes to studying for the bar exam. Like, what is your schedule going to look like? Typically, people study for this exam full-time, and it is from 8 to 10 weeks. Most people do 10. Some people even do more than that, even if they're studying full-time. I know some folks have to study part-time because they're working, and so they extend it. But for me, I studied for the bar exam for 9 weeks, and I really honestly studied for it starting after I graduated, because my graduation was super late. And I'm gonna look like here because I don't know where I'm. So I started at 9 weeks. That already had me like low-key very nervous because everybody had already started studying by then. But one thing that I would say about my bar exam experience, I listened to myself, period. I listened to my body. I listened to what works best for me. And that's like the number one advice that I would tell folks is it is not the time to change up any study schedule, any study habits that you've had. It is not the time to like experiment. What worked best for you in law school will work best for you during the bar exam. And of course, the bar exam is a different beast. So like you will have to modify, you will have to study more hours than you did in law school, of course. But I'm just saying, like, that is one advice that I got, and I took that into consideration, and I'm glad I did. So for example, I'm not a flashcard girly at all, so I didn't create my own flashcards. Like, I did not do that. So I studied for the bar exam for 9 weeks. And what did that entail? I would say the first month, because I started studying by the end of May until the end of July, once I had to take the bar exam in late July. And I would say for sure I followed the Themis schedule. I use Themis, by the way. I really like Themis, and I kind of followed it. I wasn't so strict on myself to complete all the tasks in the beginning because honestly, I wanted to prevent burnout, and that's another thing that people don't realize. And sometimes I do feel like it's harmful to tell people, hey, study 10 to 12 hours every single day for 10 weeks. I've seen that advice, and for me, I was just very conscious of being strategic and not burning out. Because honestly, I experienced burnout, and I've shared this publicly before. My first semester of law school, I was so burnt out towards the end that I couldn't even finish one of my finals. And that led me to getting an A in the class. And honestly, I really regretted that because I knew the material, but I was just so physically exhausted. Like, I could not finish that final. So I did not want to do that for the bar exam as well. I was very cautious, and I know in my website I have kind of like the times that I've studied for the hours that I've studied for the exam, and I'll put that here, and you will see that it varied. Like, some weeks I studied 35 hours, some weeks I studied X amount of hours, and it's just to show, like, I was averaging anywhere from 6 to 7 hours a day. Sundays I will kind of take off. This is like early stage. I would say this is like from May to June. I followed Themis' schedule. I also didn't make my own outlines. I used other people's outlines. And that's what I did in law school. That's how I learned in law school. So that's what I was doing in the bar exam. I was going through the material. I was doing practice questions because MEEs does a good job of including practice questions while you're reviewing. So I would say phase 1 was really me refreshing on some of the material in law school, just looking over my outlines, and then if they were helpful, right? Touch, UWorld's MBE, because MEEs has like their own. I know Barbary has this as well. I forgot what's it called. But anyway, so I did not touch those questions. I would occasionally, but I just didn't have enough time. Also, one thing I would say is that I prioritize doing MPTs as well, like with the theme schedule. And this is because I knew MPTs, you could literally not need any type of memorization. You just needed to be very strategic. So I kind of was just like I took them very seriously. I did like 7 of them in total. And that was kind of like phase 1. I didn't focus on memorization. I just focused on really understanding and grasping the material. Because honestly, if you don't understand the rules, how are you going to practice them? And how are you going to memorize them if you don't understand them? You're going to memorize incorrect rules? No. So basically, phase 1 was for me to just kind of grasp it, practice some of them, practice some questions, and some, just follow the themist schedule. Just did that. I just like really followed the schedule up until I would say early July. That's phase 2 of me studying for the bar exam. Phase 2 is starting in early July. I was like, okay, now I need to memorize stuff. Now I need to, it's coming up. And so I increased my hours of studying. I started studying on Sundays. I just started being very I'm like, okay, this is it. Like, it's this month. Let's get it. This is when I started to do like my memorization process that I did in law school. If you've seen my TikTok videos, you would know what I'm talking about. And this is like short handwriting my outlines and doing them very colorful, very nice, very cute. Hello. I'm filming my YouTube video.
Okay. Do I need to leave?
No, you don't need to leave. But you could be here in the background. So that was phase 1. Like, I was reviewing. I was going through themes to schedule. I was...
Sorry, I got 2 flavors of Celsius, but I don't know which one you like.
Oh.
So I got sparkling lemonade or mango passion fruit.
Ooh.
I think you would want the mango passion fruit.
I would. Yeah. Let me try it. I could try both, but...
Okay, hold on.
Thanks. You're so sweetie.
No straws. I lost 2 straws. The hell did I drop them?
I hope not.
I think I dropped them.
Really? In the pockets? In your sweat pockets?
Oh.
A little ASMR. Now that I don't have nails, work was so stressful last week. I ripped all my... Oh my god. Okay. Celsius, sponsor this video. Okay. So I actually like the watermelon lemonade better than the mango passion fruit. And my boyfriend liked the other one better, so it worked out. Okay, so phase 2, right? I am going down to like the memorization process. I'm handwriting my outlines down in a very colorful, short format. And I'm honestly starting off with the subjects that are very easy for me to grasp. So for me, torts, evidence, I'm trying to think because there's just so many subjects, and honestly I feel like all of them are pretty dense and very extensive. But I would definitely say torts, evidence, and criminal law were kind of like the easier subjects for me to grasp. So I started off with that. Like, I started off with them, like just going through them like two. And I would say phase 3 was definitely the last 2 weeks of the bar exam. I just was drilling. Like, I was drilling. I went to UWorld. I tried to do at least 50 MBE questions a day. And I think honestly that's what helped me pass the bar exam, because I was just very strategic in like doing the process that worked best for me in law school, like prioritizing handwritten memorization notes and then going into practice. And I feel like, you know, in early July, like I did deviate from the theme schedule. I had to, because I had to do what worked best for me. So that was kind of like phase 1 was the review, was going through themes. Phase 2 was early July, like doing my handwritten notes, like continuously doing more practice and slowly deviating from the schedule. And then phase 3, the last 2 weeks, was doing MB questions like crazy. And by the way, the reason why I did the MB questions, which is the multiple choice questions, is because it's half the exam, right? And also, mind you, like, I'm not that great with multiple choice. I feel like with law school, honestly, it has made me a better multiple choice taker, but I'm not the greatest. So I prioritize that. I prioritize as well the topics that were frequently tested and that showed up in all throughout the exam. Because there's the essays, there's certain subjects that are only tested in the essays, and that's kind of the way I navigate it. I'm sorry if this like video is going all over the place. I'm like rushing to get ready and I really wanna. I'm also listening to my boyfriend talk about the Selena Gomez controversial movie that came out, and with Genio Dever, I can never say his name, I'm sorry. Yo, that movie was straight up trash, and her Spanish was straight up trash. Like, fight with me all you want, but like, my boyfriend's Mexican too, so if anything, él tiene el derecho a decir lo que sea. Like, he has his own opinion, and he's in his right, because it's like supposed to be a Mexican film. She's supposed to be a Mexican character. It was a mess. That movie was the worst movie we've ever watched, honestly. So básicamente, I focus on practice like the last 2 weeks. I felt comfortable. I felt confident, but one area that I didn't really focus on, if y'all could tell, because I said, right, I was following Themis' schedule, I was doing the MPTs, then I focused on the MBEs, the multiple choice. I did not focus at all with the with the essays. I'm sorry, y'all. And honestly, like, it's so difficult to focus on essays when you don't know what's going to be tested, and there's like 11 different subjects of the law. And so I was just like, you know, I tried my best. Sometimes I will look at them, sometimes it just wasn't my priority, and it worked out. So also, I would say, like, the day and 2 days before the bar exam, I did not study hardcore. The most I did was look over my notes, look over my handwritten outlines, but I did not at all take like more than maybe 4 MB questions, because I did not really do that much practice the last days, especially the day before, because my anxiety was off the charts. It was just so freaking like hard for me to kind of like even think at that point. Like, I feel like I did everything that I possibly could, and I just couldn't. And also, I will say, like, while I was doing UWorld and while I was really focusing, and that's why practice is so important, while I was doing these questions, like, I was seeing these patterns. Like, I would, especially evidence, like, I'm so nice with evidence, but I would see, like, what, like, you could tell, like, when people tell you that there's patterns in the multiple choice questions, there are patterns, believe them, because I saw it for myself. Like, I could identify, like, what's the right answer. And I really just, like, also, there was days that I focused on, like, okay, let me do one negligence type question, one torts type question, and I would just be very strategic on, like, what questions I'm hitting, like, where I need more practice. And there's just a lot of statistics on, like, what's going to be on the bar exam, what's commonly tested. And I'm not saying, like, completely rely on that, but for me, I was like, I know for a fact negligence in torts is going to show up. So let me get my little, you know. And I think also through a lot of practice, you could see where in your areas of understanding you're lacking. So I would say I prioritize, like, the way I memorized was through practice. Like, I did not sit there and look at my notes and kind of test myself. Like testing myself was doing the practice. The big takeaways would be, one, I tried to not burn out, especially the first month of studying for the bar exam. I took my Sundays off. I didn't study crazy amount of hours. I really tried to listen to myself because I know myself. Like, me working that many hours, I know I was gonna burn out and it was not gonna be good. Number two is I stuck what worked best for me in law school. I stuck with the memorization process that I had developed in law school, and I deviated actually from the theme schedule once July hit because I honestly had to do what works best for me. Number three is I focused heavily the last 2 weeks on MBE questions. Like, I did so many drills. I don't know. I didn't even know how many questions I did in total, but it was a lot. And I feel like I prioritized MBE questions. Then I did all the MPT questions for Themis' schedule. And lastly, I did not prioritize that much MEEs, but it all worked out. So, I mean, this is my experience. Okay, lastly, what I regret. Okay, number one, my mental health took an absolute toll. So I would definitely say I wish I would have gone to therapy throughout this process because honestly, it is December 14, 2024. I took the bar exam in end of July of 2024 and I am finally feeling myself. I am finally recovering from the PTSD from taking the bar exam, and it took me this long and I wish I would have started therapy throughout it. I don't know. I think with therapy, honestly, I would have told myself it's going to be fine. This is the bar exam, but you did well in law school. You are smart. You're like, I feel like I should have had more confidence in myself, but I know while you're in this process, you don't. And the uncertainty is so normal. Even after I took the bar exam, I had no idea how well I did. I feel like I had a little bit of confidence that I passed, but with all law school exams, especially the difficult ones, and at least the ones that I've taken in law school, I was like, I don't know if I passed or not, but está con Dios. Like, it's in his hands. I know this is just like a brief overview of what I did, of what I prioritized, and you could find like a more formatted description on my website. So yeah, thank you so much for listening, following me, subscribe because I love you guys so much, and more videos on the way. The next video actually will be about my career trajectory of how I got my job. So if you didn't see my latest video, definitely go watch that, what I do for work and how I got there and all that they considered in my interview process, everything as well regarding my interview process, just so y'all can know like what employers are looking for. So love y'all. Subscribe because I'm almost at 1,000, y'all. I'm mad hype right now. I'm mad hype. So please subscribe.